So far, you have identified three structural components that form the foundation of your school counseling program. Number one, your belief statements, summarizing what you believe all students deserve from a school counseling program. Two, a vision for your school counseling program, identifying what you want ideally for your students. And three, a mission that briefly summarizes, in a nutshell, what the school counseling program does. The next step in constructing your foundations document is to list the services provided by the school counseling program. This list of services expands on your school counseling program's mission statement to more specifically explain what school counselors at your school do every day. Start by clicking on the pencil icon in step 9, and you'll see a list of the terms ASCA uses to describe the services school counselors provide according to the ASCA national model. School counseling offices offer three essential services according to ASCA. The first is direct services, those activities where school counselors are working directly with students, whether individually or in a small group or in a large group or classroom setting. ASCA further breaks this down into a couple of categories under direct services. One, classroom or small group instruction or teaching. Two, counseling. And three, advisement or appraisal. We've added the word scheduling to this list since it's a key service provided to students in most high schools and some middle schools. If the wording is awkward and you want to change it to fit your counseling program, you're certainly welcome to do it, unless, as an important note, you're going for the RAMP award at some future date, which requires you to use these specific categories and terms. We've also provided short descriptions of each of these services so others can refer back to them, or you can yourself, to help others understand what each category means. Feel free to edit these as well to the language you feel best describes what you do. Indirect services are those activities that are not face-to-face with students, but still student-focused and still part of your school counseling program. These activities include consultation, collaboration, and referrals, according to ASCA's terminology. Again, the focus is still tightly focused on students, but the work is not necessarily being done with students in the room. You might be conferring with a colleague or a mental health agency about a student in need, or facilitating a teacher-parent conference. You could be answering an email about a student or talking on the phone to the parent or to a parent, etc. Note that ASCA recommends that counselors spend 80% or more of their time in a combination of direct and indirect services to students. This is an easy figure for counselors and administrators to remember, and for many programs, a good goal to aspire toward. It's also a good percentage to use in discussions with your counseling program advisory councils. You can say something like, our program aspires to reach the national recommendation for quality school counseling programs, which is that 80% or more of our time is focused on direct and indirect services to students. It's a hard goal to argue with and a good figure to use when comparing what is recommended with how you are currently spending your time. The third category of services, according to ASCA, is program planning and school support. These are the behind-the-scenes tasks that are broader in nature. They're not necessarily focused on specific students, but the activities are still tied to the school counseling program's goals. This is an important point. Goals such as collecting and analyzing student data, setting up a career fair or college fair, creating the monthly parent newsletter, developing a comprehensive counseling program like you're doing now with CORE, etc. The terminology can be a bit awkward for some at first, but just do your best. There is no right or wrong to this step. It is entirely possible that you spend a considerable amount of time on tasks that don't fit into any of these categories. We call these non-counseling or non-program tasks, and it's intentional that we don't list them as a category of services that counselors should provide. But we will account for those and the time you spend in those activities later on when you start gathering actual time use data, and when you have discussions about how you can spend more time in the three services that truly focus on school counseling program goals. For now, we encourage you to either adopt this list of counseling program services as is or edit the list of services in a way that you feel makes the most sense to you and your staff. We do encourage you to at least keep the broader categories of direct, indirect, and program planning services because these categories will be referred to in other steps of this process. For now, all you need to do is accept or edit this list, and then you can check off this step.